I've seen seasons come and go, watched these crops grow high and low, worked this land with these two hands, felt the earth crumble where I stand. Out here yonder, time moves slow, but my spirit's good and my heart is full. I've found a place where I belong, where a firm handshake still settles right from wrong. It's a simple life where an honest day's pay is an honest day's work, and you love your neighbor as yourself. Put God and family first. In the rolling hills.
Good Friday morning, TSC family. I just kind of woke up. Man, I slept like a rock last night. That's who's drinking coffee this morning? Or what do you drink of a morning? Are you an orange juice person? Milk? Tea? I do like hot tea. How do you drink coffee? Black? Or do you make a milkshake out of your coffee? A Monster? You drink a Monster? Gosh, James, that's not good for you, man. This coffee is probably bad, though. That right there is Invest 91L. It looks pretty bad, doesn't it? It's rather sick looking. Might get something out of this up here, possibly, looks like. Telling you, you gotta watch down here in the Caribbean, this frontal boundary down here. A little bit of a swirl right there in the Gulf right there. You can see it right there. A little bit of a swirl right there in the Gulf. You can see it right there ever so slightly. Then we got Invest 91L. Is it any concern? Then we got another system behind it, and another system behind it coming off of Africa. The models are kind of crazy this morning, honestly. Let's get into things. First of all, from the Storm Prediction Center for today, we have severe weather there with the possibility of some tornadic activity in this section here of Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, and there in West Virginia. A tornado threat level is there today. Wind threat level is in that same general area. Hail threat level expands all the way to Texas and through that same area. So you do have a hail threat level all the way back here. If you have hail, you get some pretty bad severe weather. We know that. But the tornado threat level is that little slither right there. Let me pull up the HR model. I didn't pull that up to look at that. I was going to, and I forgot to do it. Give me one little second here. Take me a second. And let's put up updraft tracks. Yep, it's right there. And you can see that's where that hail is too. Let me zoom in there so you can see this. It's really faint looking, but y'all, there is your tornado threat level right there. And then they're saying hail is all back in here. I wouldn't be surprised this won't be some tornado activity there as well here in Arkansas and Oklahoma region, right along the Red River Valley region there. I think it's Red River Valley. But right here is your tornado threat level right there in Kentucky and West Virginia area. There it is. Shows up really well there on the HRR model. Again, this is called updraft tracking. This is how you see if there's tornado activity in the area. This is one of the greatest. It is one of the best models there is out there for short-term models. There's nothing better than that. All right, let's go forward now. I'm going to exit the Storm Prediction Center there. Now we're going to talk about Hurricane Kiko, which is located in the Pacific side. That's moving toward Hawaii. The Hawaii Islands are now in the cone of uncertainty. As a matter of fact, it's got deteriorating from a hurricane to a tropical storm as it's approaching into the islands here. If it's just a tropical storm, no big deal. If it's a hurricane, it's a big deal there. If it's a hurricane, I guess, but not quite as much. It is going to be deteriorating in value because it's running into colder waters here. Any threat level there to Hawaii? Well, it's going to be a high surf. Surfers are going to love it probably in that area. But otherwise, in the timing of this, I'll show you the timing. Looks like it starts up about Monday at 8 a.m. Monday at 8 a.m. is the time of arrival for tropical storm force winds to arrive there on the island of the Hawaiian Island chain there. And really, that's about all I can give you on that one. I'm going to exit out of this. Here is the ATCF track guidance there for the Hawaiian Islands. You can see it right there. Here is the wind guidance for Kiko. As you can see, it does deteriorate in value. It's currently right now a Category 3 hurricane, but it's going to quickly erode and weaken as it approaches the islands here, as you can see. That's a good thing. I'm glad it's not going this direction. Instead, it's going downward. So the model guidance has this deteriorating down to basically a tropical storm as it approaches the islands. Again, that's a great thing to see. Exit that one. Exit this one. We'll leave that up here. Then we got our system Lorena back here in the Pacific side. There was a lot of thought at first that this was going to go out and move over the Baja. Well, it's following which model is it following? It's following the European model. Is what it's following. The GFS model had it moving inland, and that's what the National Hurricane Center was following, was the GFS model completely. Well, come to find out that actually the European model was correct, and it's this is a post-tropical event. Going to bring rain down here in the Baja, in New Mexico, maybe a little bit of rain there in the Tucson area, but it does not pose a major threat like we first thought it was going to. Then we get to our system back here of S91L. It's got a 90% chance to develop from the National Hurricane Center. It's going to become a tropical storm, and more than likely become a hurricane. We'll look at all that. If you look right here, this is the track from the Canadian model from S91L. European model is not showing anything. Here's the track for the GFS model, which looks like it's curving out in the open Atlantic. Doesn't it? It does. Navy model's not showing anything. UK model's not showing anything. So we only have two models that's given us anything at all on Invest 91L, which is, I would say, it's rather strange to see. Especially with the 90% chance of development. The NCP Ensemble shows us two different systems, one right behind another. This right back here, I do believe, is 91L. If you look at satellite view, 91L will be located in this area right here, and then the NCP Ensemble is also picking this area right here up. I'm just looking at the graphics here, is what I'm looking at here. Let me put the latitude and longitude up here so we can see where this is at. So Invest 91L is right on the 35-degree line here. You can see it right there. If you look at the National Hurricane Center graphic, the 35-degree line is right there. So there's where the Invest is located at. It's right on that 35-degree line. So what is the NCP Ensemble looking at there? Well, the 35-degree line is right here. This is also looking at the system that's in front of it. Well, if that right there is Invest 91L, there's no doubt about that. So the NCP Ensemble is also looking at this area right here that's around the 45-degree line. There's the 45-degree line right there. So they're looking at something that's maybe in front of 91L that's going to be progressing. Now, the National Hurricane Center has not identified this area down here at all. I guarantee you they're watching it. They're watching this area down here, but they have not identified it as an area of disturbance or something of trouble right now. And there it is. It has a better chance of making it in the Caribbean, as you can see. Okay, this next up is weathernerds.org. Now, this gets a little messy because it does mix in several different, those two systems back here. Most of the system that's 91L, identified as 91L, which is right back here, it does appear that it curves out into the open Atlantic. The system that they're watching, that I'm looking at as well, kind of moves into the Caribbean here, as you can see. Now I want you guys to get fixated over here. Look over here in the Caribbean, the Western Caribbean. Look at the lows that move out of the Caribbean and develop over in the Gulf. Y'all, this is just something that is of interest to watch. I'd say let's keep one eye open and one eye closed on that right there. It's just so that therefore it'd be TS level 2 is what that would be. I'll show you guys, not on this broadcast, but on a later broadcast, the levels that we came up with for us only. For us only. It's more of a fun thing to just so you guys understand the severity level of what we're looking at here. So I would call that a TS level 2. Basically, it's one eye open, one eye closed. Not much to worry about, really right there. Okay, so this is the GFS run. Here is the European modeling. Make sure I made it out to 240 hours out. It did. Hit the update plot button. Okay, there, that is 240 hours out, isn't it? It is, yeah. All right, so this is 240 hours out on it. Again, this is 10 days. This has a lot of uncertainty when you have 10 days out. But if you look at the European in modeling here, what is it doing? It's moving out into the open Atlantic, isn't it? It does. A little bit of possibility back here in the Gulf, but not as much. Look right here. Look over to the Pacific side. I do think the modeling we've been watching it has been pulling some of this out of the Pacific, crossing over the southern parts there of Mexico, getting over in the Bay of Campeche area. This right here is something to watch and see if something gets pulled over here, walks its way over here in the Gulf side. So this is the European modeling. Now there's another modeling here I want to show you here. This is called the Google model. Yep, Google has a model, believe it or not, y'all. Let's update here. Well, maybe. Did it update yet? How many hours out are we? 240 hours out? Yeah, it did. Okay, it did update. So here's the Google map modeling. Notice there's this small area of low pressure right there. Look what it's got, guys. It does not have a lot of ensembles. Or look where the big ensembles are. It's the system behind. It's the system behind Invest 91L. They are not. The Google modeling does not have Invest 91L coming together very much of anything. This is another part of the Google modeling. And let's go to, this will take us out a little bit further out in time, maybe. Now, come on. Let's try to update here. There it is. That's what it still only taking us 240 hours out. All right, you can see this. Again, I think the system behind it has a greater chance and opportunity to make its way toward the Caribbean than what Invest 91L does right now. There's nothing over here in the Gulf on it for anything of development, or in the Caribbean. So you look at everything right now that I just showed you here so far, you'd say, well, it may not mean anything, right? There's nothing out there to worry about. Okay, I want to exit weather nerds. Okay, I forgot this morning. Here's the verse of the day. We'll do it right in the middle here. It comes from Exodus 33:15. It says, "Then Moses said to them, if your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here." That's Exodus 33:15. What is he saying there? You better believe in the presence of God, or you're not going to get to heaven. That's what Moses was telling everyone when he was talking to everyone. I think that was on the side of a mountain. I believe is where that message came from Exodus 33:15. All right. So here is what the probability from the European ensembling looks like. Notice that over here on the other side of Florida, there's a little bit. There is up to a 50% probability of something developing here. Down here, there's a presence. Now, over here in the Bay of Campeche area, there's a 10 to 20% probability of something developing here, and I do believe it's coming from the Pacific side, crossing over Mexico, near the Yucatan Peninsula, and getting there in the Bay of Campeche and possibly developing. Then you see a system here, then our system 91L going through this direction right through here. Right now, I do not see anything that's going to harm the continental U.S. right now. There's just not a lot going on. That right there may be something you need to watch. But the ensembling appears to have developed over here. So this is going to be a messy little mess here of rain that we have to get through over Florida here. It's probably going to be a messy weekend here coming up with rain. The Bucks don't play in town this weekend. They're out of town. They play Atlanta up in the undercover of a building to play their football game. So rain is not going to affect that game at all up in Atlanta. But we still got to watch this frontal boundary. There's a stalled frontal boundary right there. What happens on the tail end of these things? Things can get going, y'all. I'm not trying to hype this at all, but I've just seen it too many times on the tail end of a front like that. Things can get going here and become more of a subtropical system first before it becomes tropical. Then we got this little spin right here, and then Vest 91L here, and then another system behind it here. All right, let's look at the models now. Here's the European ensembles. What did they do overnight? Let me back it up here so we can watch this real closely here. Okay, here we go. So now we see Invest 91L. Now notice how something split here. Or did it? It didn't split. That system that's in front of it, right here, Invest 91L's here, that little swirl right there, where's it at here? There it is. So Invest 91L here, here's that system in front of it. 91L appears to be moving out into the open Atlantic. And look what the system in front of it does. Comes together, crosses over maybe the Dominican, and it comes up into the northeast. That's what it's showing right there right now. Now, people up in the northeast, that's a low-end probability because it's too far out in time to have any confidence in it. This could very well end up in the Gulf before it's all said and done. Then we got another system behind it. Do we have anything to worry about there? It doesn't appear to be. But look at where they're in the Gulf. Look at all the stuff coming out of the Pacific side into the Gulf. You can see there's a low pressure system setting right there in Texas from it. Just something we need to watch, guys. Again, that it's been showing around on September the 13th to 14th timeline. It is a timeline that we have to watch for there in the Gulf. Doesn't mean anything's going to happen. It's just a timeline we need to watch if anything does materialize there. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. Okay, let's go forward and let's look at the European AIFS ensembles. Again, look at the Bay of Campeche area. That's the 14th right there. Again, it's showing development here. Invest 91L, I can't even hardly find Invest 91L there on this modeling. It's probably located now right in the area right there. I'm more concerned what's possibility coming out of the Gulf, coming into the Gulf there, than what that I am Invest 91L. 3 areas of low pressure right there. And that would be coming into Louisiana as a hurricane. That's what that would be. And that's the end of the run. Look at the mess back here that's still coming. So European and the European IFS model really does not show much of any concern at this time. That system over here in the Caribbean, or over in the Pacific, that crosses over and gets over in the Bay of Campeche area, guys, that might happen. I'm going to say it's still low confidence of it. We didn't have a lot of ensembling there that showed that high probability. Honestly, if there'd be a cluster of 5 or 6 of them there, I would be more concerned, but I only seen 1 or 2, maybe 3 at most. That's not enough confidence to really give us anything. So it is something we do need to watch. The European and the European AIFS ensembles is showing that possibility. Again, that timeline is around September the 13th, 14th, 15th timeline is when it is. So we have 7 days really before we have anything to worry about there. Yvette, not yet. There's no boarding up right now. All right. Here's the Canadian ensembles. I don't even know what I'm even showing it for, but it's because it's been horrible. Maybe they're tweaking it and getting it right now. Now look there out of the Caribbean, what happens there over the Yucatan Peninsula. Look at that. It's got a storm system there. How many ensembles there? 1, 2. I see 2. 3 or 4 down in here. Little cluster right there near Florida. But for the most part, everything turns out in the open Atlantic. Not all of them. Not all of them. So, I can't tell you with high confidence that Invest 91L is going to necessarily turn out in the open Atlantic. Can't do that. There's too many model guidance that's showing the possibility of a continental U.S. problem. Can't show you that. Can't tell you that with high confidence of it. There's a better probability this is going to move out in the open Atlantic, but I can't tell you with 100% certainty that's going to happen yet. Okay, here are the global models. Now, yesterday the global models did something crazy. The European and the GFS were laying around top of each other with a major hurricane setting in this area. So what did they do overnight? Did they change? Okay, here's the European model. Look at that. You can't hardly even find a storm system here. It's difficult to find a storm system, isn't it? Now we got something rolling off of Africa. We do have a small piece of energy right here. Maybe moving toward the general direction of South Carolina. Y'all, you just don't see it, do you? It doesn't pop up. Here is the ATC track guidance for Invest 91L. There it is. So the general track guidance has the general overall spin of moving here into out through the Caribbean islands and getting over there, maybe south of Puerto Rico. Does Puerto Rico need to watch this? They sure do. Matter of fact, they must. Here is the general track forecast for wind. Look what it's doing. It keeps rising. It goes up. So when you get right in this area right here, say about Tuesday of next week, we'll probably have a tropical storm on our hands. When you get over here near Thursday timeline, then we're getting some of the models giving us a hurricane, a Cat 1 hurricane. About Thursday, Friday of next week, we have a small chance of this becoming a hurricane by then. Well, Thursday, Friday, let's remember that. The 20, looks like that's the 12th. Yeah, it's Friday the 12th. So let's look at that. This thing switched over on me. Dadgummit. Atlantic Basin. Okay, so let's watch this. This is the European model. Let's look for the 12th. Did we get anything in there on the 12th on the global model to look at? We didn't see anything there, did we? Okay, there we are on the 12th. Yo, I don't see nothing there. There's something that materializes back here. Invest 91L has to be over here by that time. There's nothing there. Until we see right there going there into Georgia, South Carolina area right there, a small chance. And that's the 17th. But just nothing is appearing of any grievous at all from the European model. And the European IFS, does it show anything? I would say that's not Invest 91L. That's the system behind it. Looks like it's working its way out in the open Atlantic. Look right there at the end right here. Actually, this is the beginning. Are we going to get something there in the Gulf here? Yeah, maybe it crosses Florida and materializes there, but nothing. I don't see anything there. 14th timeline there on the European IFS either. Nothing is showing up on the European model, so we're concerned, guys. There's absolutely nothing. And here is the GFS model. Then we'll go after this. After we look at these gold models, then we're going to go to where? We're going to go to the hurricane models. I'm going to look at them. You see what it is doing, the GFS model. It does develop a storm system that moves through the northern parts of the Caribbean island chain. Moves just barely north of Puerto Rico. It runs into some high pressure aloft, but there is an opening right there. It feels the resistance, and it makes its way in the opening there and gets going. Look over to Bay of Campeche. Look over here. Trying to get something going there, doesn't it? And that's the end of the run. That's the final run. Look at that. So we got a system over here. 91L's right there. Another system behind it right there. And another system well behind it right here that's moving the open Atlantic. It looks like that there's no high can resist with all these areas of low pressure that's just banging around here in the Atlantic Basin. So what happens? It's all going to turn out in the open Atlantic. The Bermuda high is getting crushed by frontal boundaries. Frontal boundaries are absolutely crushing it. The other thing it's crushing is dust. Here is the dust. You see right there, all the way out, 240 hours out. Look at all this dust in the Atlantic Basin here. That dust is not healthy for a tropical system. It is not. That's getting caught up there in dust. Look, all the dust is it's moving in around this right here. It's just not advantageous with all this dust. I would have thought by now this dust would have been moved northward by now, but it's not there. It's still down here in the main development region, which is odd this time of year to see that dust this far south. It is odd. It is very odd. So dust is controlling the tropics right now. And a lot of front boundaries. Here is next the model for Invest 91L for the HAFSA model. Let's watch this. Do you see it hardly anywhere? I'm going backwards here now. golly gee, the HAFSA model doesn't hardly develop this thing. Look at that. No development at all, that you can say. Just very little there. Here's the HAFSB model. Again, nothing there. Now keep in mind, this only goes out to 126 hours out, these short range models do. Here is the HWRF model. Again, right there it is, but there's not hardly much there, y'all. And here's the HMON model. Again, 126 hours out. Doesn't really show anything. So there is absolutely nothing to worry about here in the tropics, say for the next 5 days from the hurricane models. 5 days out, it shows it doesn't show anything of concern. Nothing absolutely of concern at all. And as a matter of fact, the hurricane models has this crashing into South America here, as you can see. Again, here's the ATCF track guidance for 91L. There it is right there. I don't see much of a concern, honestly. Even Puerto Rico, y'all, I wouldn't, there's nothing I would tell you that you need to start doing a little bit. Maybe get some non-perishable goods just in case you do need to get some. But as far as worrying about boarding up yet, no, I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't do that yet in Puerto Rico yet at this time. I don't see it really necessary yet. Even if you look at 168 hours out, which is basically 7 days from now, if you look at the guidance there with the wind probability, and we'll look at that at 7 days out. Here it is. So today's Friday, so we come over to this Friday. What do we have? Well, we may have a hurricane there. More than likely going to have a tropical storm. But we got 7 days to really watch this to see what's going to happen. This is 7 days from now. There's where we're at. More than likely a tropical storm, possibly a hurricane, maybe even a Cat 2 hurricane. But I would not be really concerned about that if I lived in Puerto Rico yet. Yeah, James, the models will change today. I'll be updating this all day as this comes in. I got several people that follow this page from Puerto Rico. I would ask you guys from Puerto Rico that follow the page to become a subscriber so you get on the messenger board. Now, while I got you a bunch of y'all live here, there's another service that I may be offering you guys. And that service is a unique service that would give anyone that is a subscriber or a non-subscriber for that fact, as a fact. But it's really, I really will promote it as a subscriber, where if you get any kind of severe weather, whether it be a tornado, a severe thunderstorm is coming into your area, large hail, high wind, a flash flood, anything that might be of severe nature, would you like a personal phone call to warn you? Well, and you'll get that phone call probably before your phone goes off from the National Weather Service. Would that be something of interest to some of you guys? I believe the cost of that is $15 per year. Is what I would it would cost. $15 for the whole year. And anywhere you go, you just hit a little button that shows I'm moving, and that the radar system will pin you wherever you would be at, is what it would do. How unique would that be? Now, I'm working on this, okay? and if I get the details worked out to where it's affordable, okay, it's affordable, and and make sure the service is working as intended. Um, would you guys be interested in something like that? How many of y'all be interested in it? I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool for $15 a month. Two cappuccinos from Starbucks is basically what it is. $15. I said a month. It's for the year. I think it's $15 for the year is what it would be. Um, that's the service that we're looking at right now. And you talk about taking the page to the next level, and then I too could be on here live with you when it happens. You would get a live phone call in my voice telling you that you have a severe weather event in your area, and you could the setup would be within a 5 mile radius of you is what it would be. I think it's a pretty awesome service. I'm working out the details with it, so it may become available for you guys. I'm just letting you all know, but we'll figure it out. And remember, I told you guys we're going to do our best to take things to the next level here. Well, that's the next level of great service that we're trying to get to you guys right now, and I think that would be pretty daggone incredible to do something like that. So that's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at right now. Y'all, I don't see a big issue here at hand right now with anything. The overall picture right here, I would call it TSE 1, maybe. Just maybe something to watch right now. That's all we got. I don't see any threat level at this time. And I say at this time because this afternoon's models may change. That's just the way it works. Models change. They may change. But right now, I don't see a threat level at all to worry about. James working on a YouTube website right now for us. So y'all hang in there. We're gonna get bigger and better. I promise you. I told you guys, especially when I retire, this will be taken to the next level then for sure. Get in early. Get in early is what I tell y'all. Y'all have a great day. God bless y'all. We'll come back tonight and look at this. Probably, let's just say, let's try to make sure. I'll try to make sure I'm here by 9 o'clock to be live somewhere around 9:15. Maybe it's 9:30 before I get live here. So somewhere between 9 and 9:30 we'll be live here again and look at the models again. All right, y'all. Have a great day. God bless y'all. Have a great Friday, everyone.